Before civilization, before temples, before language itself, humanity looked upward and felt something watching back. Lightning split the sky. The sun vanished behind eclipses. Storms swallowed entire villages. Dreams carried impossible visions. And somewhere in the darkness between fear and wonder, the first God was born. But what if gods were never merely beings? What if they were symbols humanity created to survive forces too vast to understand? And what if every god across history is actually describing the same hidden truth through different masks? Welcome to Mysterious Encounters. This afternoon we descend into one of humanity's oldest mysteries: gods, where they came from, why every civilization creates them, and what the divine may truly symbolize beneath the mythology. Early humanity lived inside uncertainty. No science, no medicine, no explanation for death, disease, eclipses, or disaster. Reality itself felt alive. The storm was not weather, it was intention. The sea was not water, it was hunger. The sun was not a star, it was power watching the earth. The earliest gods emerged from humanity attempting to map consciousness onto chaos. This is the crucial shift. Humans do not merely observe reality, humans personify it. Because the mind understands story better than abstraction. A thunderstorm becomes Zeus, the sea becomes Poseidon, death becomes Anubis, war becomes Ares, the god becomes a symbolic container for forces too overwhelming to comprehend directly. But something deeper happens here. The gods are not only projections onto nature, they are projections inward. Across completely separate civilizations, remarkably similar gods appear again and again. Sky fathers, death gods, tricksters, mother goddesses, destroyers, rebirth figures. Why? Carl Jung proposed the existence of archetypes, universal symbolic structures buried deep inside human consciousness itself. This means humanity may not have invented gods randomly. We may have discovered recurring psychological patterns emerging from the subconscious. The warrior god represents aggression. The mother goddess represents creation and protection. The trickster represents chaos and transformation. The gods become mirrors, not only of the cosmos, but of the human psyche itself. Perhaps mythology is not primitive fiction. Perhaps it is psychological code. Ancient humanity externalized inner forces because symbols make invisible truths easier to understand. Before written language, before organized religion, one symbol dominated nearly every civilization: the sun, Egypt, Mesopotamia, the Maya, the Inca, Greece, Rome. The sun became divine because it controlled existence itself: light, warmth, harvest, time. Without it, death. The sun's daily death and rebirth also became symbolic. Every sunset looked like annihilation. Every sunrise looked like resurrection. This created one of humanity's deepest metaphors, the cycle of death and rebirth. Many gods inherit solar symbolism: crowns of light, halos, golden radiance, ascending into heaven. The divine becomes associated with illumination itself. Not merely physical light, but awareness, consciousness, truth. Ancient civilizations often believed gods demanded sacrifice: animals, food, blood, sometimes human lives. Modern people see this as barbaric, but symbolically, sacrifice represents something psychologically profound. Transformation requires loss. To gain, something must be surrendered: comfort, ego, fear, identity. Ancient rituals externalized internal transformation. The sacrifice becomes metaphor, a symbolic death allowing rebirth into a new state. This is why so many myths involve descent into darkness, death and resurrection, trials, initiation, rebirth. The gods are not merely asking for blood, they are asking humanity to evolve through suffering. As civilizations expanded, religion transformed. Many gods slowly became one god. Why? Because consciousness itself evolved toward abstraction. Early humanity divided reality into separate forces: storm gods, river gods, war gods, fertility gods. But eventually a deeper idea emerged. What if all forces originate from one source? Monotheism compresses the universe into singular intelligence, one creator, one order, one consciousness behind reality itself. This changes everything psychologically. The divine stops representing parts of nature and begins representing ultimate meaning itself. God becomes truth, morality, creation, judgment, eternity, not merely a being in the universe, but the structure behind existence itself. Perhaps the greatest mistake modern civilization makes is asking, did ancient people literally believe in gods? Instead of asking, what were the gods trying to express? Because symbols survive when they contain truth, the gods may symbolize consciousness confronting infinity, humanity wrestling with mortality, the search for meaning, the fear of chaos, the longing for transcendence. And perhaps every civilization ultimately discovered the same terrifying realization. Human beings are aware enough to recognize their own fragility, but not aware enough to fully understand the universe surrounding them. The divine emerges in the space between those two realizations, not merely as religion, but as humanity's attempt to survive existential terror itself. Perhaps the gods were never simply beings in the sky. Perhaps they were symbolic languages, created by consciousness attempting to communicate truths too large for ordinary speech. Storms became gods, death became gods, love became gods, war became gods, because symbols allow humanity to emotionally interact with forces otherwise impossible to hold inside the mind. And perhaps beneath every mythology, every temple, every religion, every prayer, humanity has always been searching for the same thing, meaning inside a universe vast enough to make us feel small. The names changed, the symbols changed, the rituals changed, but the longing remained identical. And somewhere beneath all the masks of gods and empires, the oldest human question still echoes unchanged. What is this reality? And why are we here at all?